again, my name is Micheal Tawill, and I'm very excited really to be here and to be able to have the opportunity to share with you what we're going to actually be discovering and sharing, what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And basically what we're going to be talking about today is the Sunday market open, the London breakout strategy, and basically you're going to be learning how to utilize trade setups in the European session. All right, this will definitely make more sense. I know it looks like a lot there, but it's a very simple, awesome strategy. That's what we're going to be covering today. All right. Now, I will tell you also that everything I'm going to be teaching you today, I've learned through MTI's education, and I do everything I'm going to be showing you. So I'm not going to be teaching you from a standpoint of theory, but more from being an actual example. Now, one thing that I want to tell you right out of the gate, all right, each and every one of you is this. All right, I just want to let you know up front that I'm going to be showing you strategies from a product that my company developed. All right, it's called the Live Market Forex Session. Now, you might be wondering, why am I actually telling you this? All right, I'm telling you this because a lot of times when you watch these different types of webinars, you're not really paying full attention because your mind naturally, just tries to figure out, what's the catch, or, you're wondering how much is this going to be, right? Type in a Y for yes if you can relate. And so I'll tell you right now, it's not a break the bank product, all right? It's probably less than a lot of you spend drinks on in a given week, all right? It's only $27 for the first month, and that's one thing I want to tell you right out of the gate, just so that you can kind of maybe clear that notion, all right? So with that, you are going to be able to get have the opportunity to trade live with the creators of the strategies, and when you're confident enough, with that strategy, you'll definitely see how it can really kind of revolutionize your trading careers, all right? And there's no strings attached. So with that being said, I just want to let you know that. Now, I do have to let you know that trading does have its own form of risk involved, okay? So you should never invest money that you can't afford to lose, and always trade with equity management in mind. Now, there is no such thing as an undefeated season, and you may incur losses from time to time, but the key is to keep your profits high and have minimal losses. All right, now, it is highly recommended that you do go through education in its entirety and begin trading as a knowledgeable and educated trader, if you will. Also, I want to let you know, please be advised that anything that I'm going to actually be showing you today, don't take this as actual investment advice. All right, I'm going to take you through a nice walkthrough of several trade examples. All right, show you some wins and some losses as well. But ultimately, when you do trade live, the decision to make a specific trade is yours. So once again, I want to personally welcome each and every one of you. For those of you in the room that just joined us in the last minute or so, my name is Micheal Tawill. And real quick, just to give you a quick background on myself, for the past 7 years, I have been coaching and mentoring individuals on essentials necessary to succeed in the marketplace. Now, I do speak to organizations and large audiences ranging in upwards of 10,000 plus people at any given time, training them on how to become a results-driven achiever. Now, what I really want to share with you is about, 8 months ago, the PowerPoint actually says you see 5 months ago. I was thinking to see just like you are today. But I want to tell you 5 months ago is when I actually started learning the strategy that I'm going to be showing you today and what I'm going to be sharing with you, all right? And I can tell you, regardless whether you're, real quick, actually, can you just type a number 1 into the chat box if you're brand new, if you don't really know much about the Forex market, and then type in number 2 if you're currently trading the market in any way, shape, or form, whether it's demo, whether it's live. Just give me an idea of who I have in the room. Oh, we have a lot of traders. Awesome. Cool. Brian, Gary, Paul, Wayne, Winston. All right. Thank you, Jay and Peter. Another Peter, Bill, Jamie, John, and everyone else. All right. Perfect. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. Now, a lot of you might be wondering, who is MTI? Well, MTI stands for Market Traders Institute. All right, so we were founded by Jared Martinez in February of 1994, and they are located in Lake Mary, Florida. And we do employ over 100 of the most talented staff in the industry, and over the last 20 years, they've really had the honor in working with over 30,000 clients from all corners of the world. Now, we do operate under a single mission here, which is to create successful traders. And since client satisfaction is highly important to MTI, we have designed all of their client interactions around a single sentence, and that is, we never leave a client behind. Now, not only does MTI have some of the best strategies, all right, but MTI also has some of the best expert Forex instructors and analysts in the Forex industry. Now, one specific instructor that I want to make light of right now is Joshua Martinez. All right, people also know him around the world as the FX Pathfinder. Now, Joshua Martinez is one of MTI's product knowledge experts, and a lot of you might be wondering, why are you actually telling me about Josh, okay? I will tell you why right now. Yes, G, I do see what you're saying there. Yes, my friend, all right? So let me explain to you who Josh is. All right, I'm going to explain to you right now why he is the authority on Forex investing. Well, he is one of MTI's product experts. He has trained thousands of Forex investors. He's turned in an initial deposit investment of $500 and generated over 39,000 US dollars of profit. He's made thousands of Forex investments. He's a published author, international speaker, pro analyst, and finally, he is a full-time trader. Now, why am I telling you this? Because Josh has literally created a strategy that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and this strategy right now, I'll tell you, has literally allowed him to do some unbelievable things. For example, if you take a look right here, back in June 5th of 2011, he actually opened up a trading account with just 500 US dollars. All right, what this really gave him the ability to do was to trade with a micro position. And when he first started trading, maybe like many of you, he was only making around $2 to $5 per trade and losing $2 to $5 per trade. But when he started going to the education that Market Traders Institute offers, he started noticing patterns. Okay, and let me kind of explain to you why I'm referring to patterns. If we fast forward right now, we can actually see that he was able to take time compounding and actually build residual income. And through the actual course, when he was able to put more money in, he did. But he did stick with it, all right, and it actually taught him how to reinvest his money, how to compound, build residual income, and of course, when he was able to deposit money along the way, he certainly did. All right, now, I will also show you, you can see here that he had daily returns of up to $4,000 to $5,000 per day in profits, and he was actually withdrawing $10,000 at a time, and what once took him 6 months working 5.5 days a week to make, he was actually able to make that in just one single day. Now, he personally told me that when he was able to start withdrawing this kind of money, it did dramatically change his life, his financial lifestyle to the better. Now, I will tell you right now, I want to ask you actually, how many of you want to learn this skill? How many of you would like to learn this skill where you can literally get to this point where your account can go from where Josh's was, all right, and you can kind of see that kind of go up, right? I mean, I'm assuming that's why you're all here. And one more thing I want to show you is this. I want you to take a look at his track record, which is third-party verified, but you will see that he has a gain of 4,548.82% return on his initial deposit investment. Now take a look at the bottom there. You will see the graph of his growth, okay? And basically what it's showing you that he was making money and losing money, right, over and over. And all of a sudden you notice that things really took off. And what we like to call this is our tipping point. And what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to show you the strategy that has really been able to assist Josh and myself in finding our tipping points so that it can actually assist you in finding your own tipping point faster, all right? And so once again, if that's what you would like, that's what we're going to be covering today. And finally, all right, one more thing before I pull up my charts. To kind of celebrate his accomplishments, I want you to take a look here. Back in April was actually his biggest day where he made 8,800 US dollars in just one day. And let me ask you this question. I'm not saying you're going to be able to make this starting tomorrow, but what if the strategy that I'm going to be showing you in just a second today, all right, will begin to allow you to make $2,000 and maybe $5,000 in just a single month? How many of you would like to learn that type of skill, to generate that type of income? Would you consider that a pretty good start? Right? How many of you agree that it would really allow you to change your lifestyle, to the financial lifestyle to the better? And so with that being said, let's go ahead, let's get right into things. And let me go ahead and pull up my charts. When you see my charts put up on your screen, can you all just please be so kind of type in a Y for yes? Let me know when you certainly do see my charts up on your screen. All right, perfect. Now, with that being said, I do want to let you know somebody actually asked me a question earlier based on something that I mentioned in the very, very beginning, and I'll go ahead and just tell you right now. I'll say it once again. All right, I am going to let you know right up front that the strategy that I'm going to be showing you, all right, was developed by the company here at Market Traders Institute, and it's called the Live Market Forex Session. Now, once again, I will repeat myself with this. The reason I'm telling you this is here's why. Is because how many of you, when you're naturally, watching a webinar or presentation, your mind kind of shifts gears and you're kind of wondering, all right, either what's the catch or how much is it going to be, and am I going to be able to afford this? And so I'm going to tell you right out of the gate that what I'm going to show you, okay, is literally we're going to show you how to get started for just 27 US dollars. All right, I'm going to tell you that right out of the gate. And so, I really want you to focus full attention on what I'm going to show you, just to kind of clear that notion. All right. So with that being said, let's take a look at the screen right now. If you notice, I have 6 different currency pairs pulled up on the screen. All right, now in front of us, this is our wealth acceleration software. Now this software that we actually provide, we provide it to all of our students here at Market Traders Institute that do decide to enroll in our Ultimate Traders Package on Demand. All right, and now what I want to do right now is this. I know we have some experienced traders in the room, and I know that we have some novice traders as well. And so what I want you to do real quick is I want you to write these 6 currency pairs down. Okay, we have the pound and Swiss, we have the pound US, we have the pound Canadian, we have the pound Australian, pound Japanese yen, and the pound New Zealand. All right, and if you want, maybe depending on your PC, you might be able to actually take a snapshot on your computer of these. Go ahead and feel free to do so. Just type in the word done when you have that written down, so we can just kind of keep moving here. I just want to make sure all of you have these pairs written down for your own personal knowledge. All right. All right, wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for that confirmation. Perfect. Okay. Now, what I'm going to be showing you today, all these are time frames. All right. And so, with that being said, I know a lot of you are asked the time to be showing us 1 hour time frames. Now, in front of us, what I want to do right now is I want to pull up the pound here. And this is the currency pair I'm going to be using as the example of what we're going to be actually going into today. Now, for those of you that don't know how to read the Forex market, it's actually really, really simple. And just look carefully here. Let me go ahead and compress the chart there. Now, each one of these candlesticks that you see on the screen, all right, each one of these candlesticks, actually what it does is basically it represents price interest point over time. Now, each one of these bars represents 60 minutes of time, and you're going to have white bars, which means the price has fluctuated and gone up. Then you have dark bars, which means the market has decreased and gone down. All right. Now, the one thing I want you to actually notice here, let me go ahead and, all right, compress the chart. Now, how many of you notice how the market actually moves? The market moves in what you call a wave-like pattern, okay, where it creates highs, then it creates lows. Creates highs, then it creates lows. How many of you see that? All right. Now, if you notice here, we have higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs and higher lows. And so the whole point of this market, the beauty about this market is that you can basically make money on the way up and you can make money on the way down. All right, understand what goes up must come down, what goes down must come up. All right, so just take a look at how the market actually moves. Now, the great thing about the Forex market compared to other markets like options and others is that if you want to buy the Forex market, just buy it, right? And if you want to sell the market, just sell it. I mean, there's really not many options you have, right? So you can only either buy or sell the market. So understand that you literally have a 50-50 chance of being right or being wrong just by simply guessing. All right, I'm not telling you to guess, of course not. But how many of you realize that there's a 50-50 chance of being right just by guessing, which means that if you have a decent strategy, the percentages will actually fall highly in your favor? How many of you understand that, right? And so what I want to do right now is let me just clean up the charts real quick. And I want to move the chart up to a blank space. All right. Now, what I want to do first is I want to literally draw out what we're going to be doing here, and then I want to actually show it to you and show you how it works, because this is, spatially a little bit easier for you to really follow along. And the neat thing about the Forex market that I absolutely love is that it does the same thing over and over and over again, right? For those of you that are currently trading, a lot of you already know that. And so understand that day in and day out, right? Day in and day out, the market has a very high percentage of providing the same signals, usually during the same times and usually during the same areas. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and just draw this out for you and take a look here, all right? So with that being said, why am I actually drawing this? Well, the reason I'm drawing this, one of the areas that the market has actually provided us with is the market will actually provide a high and a low within a 24-hour period. So if you take a look right here where my mouse is, let me just go ahead and I'm going to type out high and low and put that there, and then I want to go ahead and do the same thing. So I'm going to place that up here, all right? Now, the reason I'm actually doing this is this. Now, first thing I want you to understand is that within a 24-hour period, the market's going to provide you with two sets of highs and lows, all right? So with that, the first high and low that you see down here on the bottom of the screen, all right, that is actually going to form, it's going to form its first high or low between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., all right? So let me just go ahead and type that out. So we have 2 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 a.m. Eastern Time, all right? Now, that is what? That is a 3-hour gap in time, correct? Now, the one thing I want you to understand is that if you take a look at the second high or low above, right here, well, that is actually going to form anytime between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. And so let's go ahead and type that out, and I'll show you exactly why I'm actually telling you, why I'm giving you this information here, okay? It's all part of our strategy. So let's go ahead and put 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. All right, now, with that being said, let me ask you all a very simple question. Do you believe, So notice here we have a 3-hour gap for the first higher low, and if you look up at the top of the screen, you'll notice how many hours is that? Bingo, right? There's a 6-hour gap. So let me ask you this. How many of you agree with me that it's probably going to be a little bit easier to find the first higher low with a 3-hour gap than it is the second higher low with a 6-hour gap? All right? Just type in a Y for yes if you agree with me on that one. And so the reason I'm telling you that is because what we're going to be focusing on today is we're going to be focusing on the first higher low of the market. All right? Now, as you can see, once again, 3 hours and 6 hours. Now, the reason I'm actually telling you that is this. If we focus on the first higher low between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., all right, this is like a 7-10 opportunity. So you literally have a 70% chance that the market will form a higher low between this time every single day. All right? And so that is that's the higher low that we're going to focus on, not this one. All right? Now, with that being said, the reason I'm actually telling you this is because the second thing I want you to go ahead and write down and understand is that every single day the market is going to create something, all right, with its first higher low of the day. It's going to actually move, and when we're trying to collect pips, that's our overall goal in the market, it's going to create something called, there's a thing called average daily trading range. How many of you are familiar with that term? Just type in a Y for yes, please, if you are familiar with average daily trading range, or people might know it as ADT. All right, awesome. Thank you, Brian, Val, Jerry, Gary, James, and everyone else. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put ADT. Understand that what we're looking for, all right, the average daily trading range with what we're looking at right now, we can expect a movement anywhere between 50 pips. All right, so let's just put 50 pips and 200 pips. So the reason I'm actually writing that out is this. If we look at the minimum, what's the minimum pips that we're going to look to focus on with the average daily trading range? It's 50 pips. So with this strategy I'm going to show you, we are going after a minimum of 50 pips every single time. All right? So, yeah, somebody put ATR. It could be, ADT or ATR. You know, some people abbreviate a little bit differently. So, yeah, definitely same thing there. So, now, with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and explain to you the different options you have available to you when you're actually trading. So the question is, what is a pip and what is it actually worth to me? Well, understand that there's 3 major lot sizes traded in the Forex market, and depending on your actual investment, that will depend on your actual ROI, your return on investment, what it will be. So, for example, if you just start off with a very small lot size, the smallest lot size available, it's called a micro position. And so a micro position, that's going to be we'll call it a $20 investment. So $20 invest, and you're basically looking for each pip you earn, each pip you earn, that's basically going to equate to 10 cents. All right. So understand that that is a micro position. Now, what is the following lot size? Well, the next lot size above that is what we call a mini lot. All right. So a mini lot is a $200 investment. All right. And a mini lot with each pip you earn, each pip is worth, all right, $1. So we're going to put $1 right there. Now, finally, right, the third lot size is called a standard lot. And a standard lot is a $2,000 investment. And with that, every pip, each pip that you get, each pip is worth, all right, each pip is worth $10. Now, I will tell you right now, actually, let me ask you all this question. For those of you in the room right now that maybe are currently trading, all right, I want to just go ahead and ask you, if you're currently trading, or maybe when you do start trading, how many of you are going to be starting at a mini position? Just put in 200 if you're going to be at mini, or if you are at mini. Put in 2,000 if you're going to be starting at standard lot, all right, or if you're already trading at a standard lot, or even if you're micro, okay? But let me just kind of get a feel here. All right, thank you, Gary, Jay, Paul, Jody, Greg, Mears, I believe I pronounced that correctly. All right, thank you, Shirley, Richard, James, Peter, and Derek, Brian, and everybody else. Wonderful. All right, just gives me a little bit better idea here. All right, wonderful. Now, thank you for responding there. Now, let's just say on the low end you make 50 pips per day. All right, that's either $500 with a standard position, $50 with a mini position, or just $5 with a micro position. Now, just so I can get a better understanding of who we actually have in the room today, why don't you go ahead and just type this into the chat box real quick. For those of you that for those of you that have ever seen or heard of this form of strategy, for those of you that are currently, let me speak to the traders in the room. For those of you that are currently trading right now, okay, a lot of you put in mini lot position. Understand that what is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to eventually build your way up to trading at a standard lot. Is that fair to say? And so it looks like the majority of the room is starting out at around a mini lot, which is pretty normal. And for those of you that are at a $20 investment, okay, a micro position, just understand that when you trade a micro position, we set the expectation that's not really life-changing. It's really more like study income, right? But you got to start somewhere, and that's when you're going to really be able to learn the habits and the strategies that you're going to, it's going to allow you to really progress. Make sense? So for those of you that are already at a standard lot investment, we have a few of you in the room right now. I think that's fantastic, and I think you have an extremely high competitive edge, and you're really going to be pleased with the type of income you're going to be able to receive based on what I'm going to be showing you today. All right? So with that being said, let me go ahead and clean this up and move on. So with that being said, let me now show you how this actually holds true, right, in the actual market. So the very, very first thing that I want to do, if you notice that we are at the current market, all right, this is current market today where we stand. I'm going to back this up just a little bit because I really want to kind of show you something and then get your take on it. All right. So let me actually, sorry for all this fast movement. Now, if I look for the first, let me look for a 3 a.m. candle. So I am going to go ahead. Let me back the market up and ask you all a question. How many of you see right here this little highlighted dot? As a matter of fact, let me compress the chart a little bit more so it's easier to see. All right. How many of you see this 3 a.m. candle right here? How many of you see that? Okay. Well, with that, I want you to take a look at something. How many of you notice and see that the market creates a directional push within that time frame? You see that? So this creates a directional push down towards the south. Now, let's go ahead and keep moving. Let's take it out to the previous 3 a.m. candle. All right. So if we go to the previous 3 a.m. candle, which is right here, how many of you see and notice, is there a directional push down towards the south? And when I say directional push, it might not be an actual extreme directional push, but how many of you see the market does move quite a bit in that little bit of time frame? Now, if we go ahead and move to the previous 3 a.m. candle, I want you to take a look. Now do we have a directional push up towards the north? All right? And so with that being said, the reason I'm actually showing you that is just kind of give you perspective on what I was referring to when I showed you and when I was explaining that the first higher low is formed between those time frames. And once again, same thing, and I can take it out and show you other examples as well. All right? However, what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and show you how the strategy holds true and how we actually trade utilizing this strategy. So the very first thing I want to do, let me just go ahead and bring this to current market. I want to back this up a little bit so it's a little bit easier for you to see. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to back the charts up, and I want to go to December 31st. Let's start at December 31st. All right. So real quick, let's advance this forward, and here we go. All right. How many of you see that this is on December 31st? This is my 3 a.m. candle. How many of you see that? All right. So with that being said, the first thing we're going to do, the moment we identify our 3 a.m. candle, is we are now going to do what? We are going to create, all right, we're going to go ahead and establish, we need to figure out, are we going to buy the market or sell the market? A lot of you are already asking me that question. And so the very first thing I want you to keep in mind is this, that what we are doing is we are looking to trade, we are immediately looking for the 3 a.m. candle, so 3 a.m. Eastern time. That is the time frame that we are looking to start the strategy on, all right? So every morning, I'm looking for the 3 a.m. or depending on where you're at around the globe, that's what we're looking at. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to place a green line, all right, a green line 10 pips above the high, all right? So here's the high. We're going to go 10 pips above. So let's go up. We're at the 1.9873, so let's go up to the 9883 and right there, okay? So we're 10 pips above the high. Now, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to put another green line, all right, minus 5 pips below the low. So we're going to go down. Right now we're at the 1.9833. Let's go down 5 pips. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to drop it right there. Now the reason we're putting these green lines here is this, what we're going to call this green line up top, this is going to be known as our entry buy, all right? And with our entry buy, that's going to be 10 pips above the high, all right? Now, the reason we put a green line right here is that is going to be known as our entry sell, all right? And once again, our entry sell was minus 5 pips below the low. So I want you to understand also that we did not actually place an order. These are pending orders. All right, so what we're looking for right now is this. The market must cross one of these green lines, and that will tell us if we're going to buy or sell the market. All right, so we're looking for the market to cross one of these lines within 2 hours. Make sense? Now, let's go ahead and advance the market forward and see what happens. 1, 2. All right. Did the market cross above our entry buy green line? How many of you see that, all right? And so with that being said, the first thing we're going to do is this. We have identified that we are going to enter into the market as a market buy. So we're going to go ahead. First thing we're going to do is this. We are going to delete our opposite order. We're going to delete our entry sell. We're going to delete that line. And we're going to rename our entry buy. We are now in a market buy. All right? Now, the moment we're in a market buy, what is the very next thing we need to do? Okay? We need to go ahead and we need to place our stop. So where do we place our stop? Well, we place our stop at the low of our 3 a.m. candle. So here's our 3 a.m. candle. We're going to place a stop right there. We just placed it at the low of the 3 a.m. candle. All right? Now, the moment we do that, we now need to identify how many pips are we actually going after. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take my box information tool, which measures pips, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to see what is our risk to reward. So our risk here is what? Our risk is, how many of you can type in, how many of you can tell me what is our risk? And for those of you that aren't quite sure, let me just go ahead and show you where I'm looking so that it makes a little bit more sense. Follow my spotlight right here and to the top left-hand side of my screen. Great job, Shirley and Gary. Awesome job. So here's the word range. How many of you see range equals 50? Just type in a Y for yes if you're with me. Range equals 50. All right, wonderful. Range equals pips. I want you to keep that in mind. So in this scenario, range equals 50 pips. Now, it'll also show you when you got into the trade and when you are going to exit the trade. All right, so with that being said, we are looking at 50 pips. So let's go ahead. We're going to measure up 50 pips, all right, right there. So we are at the 1.9933. So I'm going to drop a green line at 1.9933 right there, okay? And that is what I am going, that is where I'm going to basically, that's what I'm going to call my reward, all right? So let me go ahead and just kind of shrink that a little bit so there's no confusion on that. All right, now, so our reward is now going to be 50 pips. That's what we're going after. And it's kind of funny that our reward is 50 pips because remember what I told you earlier? We are going to go after a minimum of 50 pips. So it's actually 50 on the dot. So reward is 50 pips. So what we're going to do now is we're going to advance the market forward, and let's see how many hours does it take, okay? And let's see what happens. So 1, all right, take a look. How many of you see, did the market indeed hit our limit 1 hour into the trade? Did the candle wick indeed cross our line? How many of you see that? All right, so literally, check this out. We got in right here, or sorry, at 3 a.m., 1, 2, 3 hours later. Now, when we placed our market buy, when we got into the market buying, 1 hour later, we hit our reward. So in that, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and rename that. That went from being what we wanted to accomplish to now being up 50 pips or 500 US dollars profit in 1 hour, okay? Remember, everything I'm showing you is as if we're trading one standard lot. I'm using one standard lot as the example here, okay? So with that being said, what are we going to do next? We're going to go ahead and look for our next opportunity. So we're going to take our profit. We're going to continue looking for the 3 a.m. candle, all right? And what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and delete these lines so that it makes a little bit, looks a little bit cleaner here. All right, now, how many of you like that strategy so far? Just, I mean, so far, right? I'm going to show you more examples. But just based on what you saw, how many of you are liking it so far, right? And so what I'm going to do now is let's look for our next 3 a.m. candle, okay? So once again, we're going to go to our next 3 a.m. candle, and let's advance the market forward. right there. All right, so how many of you see this is our 3 a.m. candle right here? All right, there it is, 3 a.m. So what I'm going to do now, let me ask you this. How many of you can tell me what is the very, very, very first thing that I'm going to do? I'm going to place a what? I'm going to place an entry buy where? 10 pips above, bingo. There it is, right? So 10 pips above the high. So I'm going to go up. I'm at 2.0044. Let's go to 0054 and drop it right there. There's my entry buy. And so let's go ahead and label that. So we have an entry buy plus 10 pips above the high. Now, with that being said, I'm now going to do what? What's the second thing I'm going to do? Who can tell me? Yep, we're going to place an entry sell order, right? 5 pips below the low. So let's drop down 5 pips right there, all right? So once again, let me go ahead and type this out. So we now have an entry sell, all right, minus 5 pips below the low. Now, once we have these identified, keep in mind, folks, that these are just pending orders. What is it going to do? I'm going to advance the market forward, and I'm now looking to see, is the market going to my entry sell? And that will determine what I'm going to do. So let's take a look here. 1 hour, right? 1 hour into the trade, how many of you can tell me, are we in a market sell? Yes or no? All right? So what is the very first thing we're going to do once the market crosses entry sell line? We're our opposite order. So delete that. Delete our line name. What does entry sell become? Our entry sell now becomes our market sell. All right? So once we go ahead and do that, what's next? Let's go back and identify where was our 3 a.m. candle right there. Where do we place it now? Remember, I told you before, when we're in a market buy, stop go at the low of our 3 a.m. candle. However, when we enter the market selling, when we enter in as a market sell, keep in mind that is to be placed 5 pips above, okay, 5 pips above the 3 a.m. high, all right? So let's go up 5 pips. 1, 2, 3, 4, and all right. As a matter of fact, let me get a red line there. So by that. All right. So once again, 5 pips above, right there. All right. So that is not going to be our stop. Remember, our stop is going to be plus 5 pips. All right. Plus above the high when selling the market. So let's take a look at our risk to reward, and we're going to go ahead, and first thing we need to figure out is what is our risk, and then we'll determine. So our risk is, who can type that in? Who can tell me what our risk is? 56. Okay. Great job, and Shirley. Phenomenal. Great job, Andy. Awesome job. So 6 is our reward. Our reward is 56 pips. All right? So we're at the 1.99. So 9939 is going to be my reward. 9939. Okay, right there. So the moment I drop that right there, that's going to be my reward. So our reward, what are we going after? We're going after 56 pips. All right? Now, how many of you are catching along? How many of you are liking this strategy? And how many of you believe that, you know what, this is definitely something I can do? And you know, it's kind of funny. I know people often ask, they're like, man, you know, I don't know if I can wake up that early. Well, look, somebody actually one time said, well, I'm in the UK, so it's like 7 o'clock in the morning for me. I'm like, well, you know, a lot of people in the US probably wish they were in your shoes. But check this out. How many of you would honestly, you would not mind waking up at 3 a.m., following this strategy, okay, generating your profit, and then going back to bed? You know, believe it or not, some people literally trade full-time utilizing this strategy alone. And so let's take a look here. We're going to advance the market forward. Now, how many hours did it take for the market to cross our reward? How many hours did it take? 1 hour, right? 60-minute time frame. So within 1 hour, what we wanted to go after is now an actual profit. We're up 56 pips, or at one standard lot, that is $560 profit in 1 hour. All right. How many of you are catching along now? And how many of you believe? How many of you would like Okay, literally within 2 trades, you're up over 1,000 US dollars of the standard lot. How many of you wouldn't mind doing that? Now let me ask you this. If we're up over $1,000, okay, let's just call it $1,000, literally within 2 trades, and we've only been, what, 2 days into the month, okay? How many of you can only imagine what would that do for you if you were able to utilize this strategy on all 6 currency pairs? Just picture that, okay? So what I'm going to do now is this. I want to show you one more example. I want to show you one more example real quick on what we're going to do. But this time, I want to actually ask you how to do this. So I want you to literally guide me through this, and I want you to literally tell me, what do I do, all right? So let's go ahead and clean up this chart. What are we going to do? We are waiting for our next 3 a.m. candle. So once again, let's advance the market forward, and we're looking for our next 3 a.m. candle. So right there. Okay. Boom. All right. So I now have identified my new 3 a.m. candle. All right. So the moment we identify our new 3 a.m. candle, what is the very, very first thing that we want to do? Who can tell me? We want to place. I'm going to wait. Let's see who can tell me here. All right. Bingo. Great job, everybody that's typing that in. Our entry buy. Awesome job. Yep. Shirley, Mirce, Andy, and everyone else. So entry buy is plus 10 pips. All right, plus 10 pips above the high. So let's go ahead and do that. Make sure that's our 3 a.m. candle. It is indeed. So let's go up 10 pips above. So we're at 2.0031. Let's go to the 0041 and drop it right there. So there's my entry buy. What's the second thing we want to do? Who can tell me? Awesome. Yeah, Rick, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Rick, you know, I want to let you know, am I telling you that this works every single night? No. It's, you know, I mean, number one, you have 6 different currency pairs, but I guess what I should say is, does it work every night? Yeah, but does it, am I saying that you're never going to lose? No, okay? There's no such thing as an undefeated season, okay? You will, and you may incur losses from time to time, but when you have proper equity management, and you know where to place your stops, and you properly follow the strategy, you know, definitely that's when it's more in your favor. Does that make sense? Can you all just give me a Y for yes real quick if you understand that you are going to incur losses from time to time, but how many of you would be okay having more wins than losses? Does that make sense? And so I'm not saying that, you know, when you go ahead and place your stops, understand that, actually I'll explain it when I place my stop as to what I was just about to say. But if we go back to our entry sell, a lot of you wrote it earlier, our entry sell is minus 5 pips. So minus 5 pips below the low, right? So let's go ahead and place that in position. So we're at the 1.9978. So let's drop down 5 pips. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right there, right? So now, what are we going to do at this time? We are now going to what? We are going to advance the market forward. We are looking for the market to cross either line, and whichever line it crosses is the line that I'm now going to go ahead and enter into the market, buying or selling. So 1 hour into the trade, how many of you see the market did cross our entry sell? How many of you see the market crossed our entry sell, and we are now going to what? We are now going to enter into the market, selling the market, right? And so what are we going to do? The very, very first thing is we're going to delete our opposite order right there, and we are now going to do what? We're going to rename our entry sell, and that now officially turns into our market sell. Now, once we have that established and identified, all right, what is the next thing we want to do? We want to place our stop. Now, how many of you can tell me, where do we place our stop when we're selling the market? We are going to place our stop 5 pips above the high, right? So we're going after 5 pips above, so let's go ahead and place our stop. So if we're at the let's see here, we're at 32, so let's go up, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right there, right? So we have now placed our stop in position. A lot of you are asking me questions about the stop, all right? Now understand that once we have that identified, what are we going to do? We need to establish what is our reward going to be. So it's a 1-to-1, so let's go ahead and measure. What's our risk? Our risk is 66 pips, right? So if our risk is 66 pips, what is our reward? 66 pips, right there. So we need to drop our reward at 1.9906. So 1.9906, and that is right there. Now, the moment we have that identified, let's go ahead and write that out. So we have a reward of 66 pips. Now, how many of you are starting to understand this a little bit more? The more I do it, are you starting to catch on? And how many of you truly believe that this would really allow you to, really kind of turn around your trading careers? Or how many of you believe that this is a strategy that would really allow you to accomplish a lot of the things that maybe, are in your mind? Maybe if you want to retire or travel or get out of debt or send your kids to school or, whatever the case may be, would this really allow you to meet a lot of those expectations that you have? So once again, 2 hours into the trade, do we hit our reward? Yes or yes? Absolutely. So now our reward is now going to turn into what? Our reward is now going to turn into an actual 66 pips of profit, or at one standard lot is $660 US profit. Now, let me ask you a very simple question real quick. And by the way, let me just go ahead because that was not in 1 hour. That was in 2 hours. How many of you would be pretty excited? If you were able, to place 3 trades starting January, and in your first trade you generated $500 US. Your second trade, you're up $560 US, and your third trade, you're up $660 US. The first was in 1 hour, the other was 1 hour, the other was within 2 hours. So if we take our calculator real quick and just add that up, let's just take a look. $500 US plus 560 plus 660 is $1,720 US. All right, so 1,000, okay, 1,720 US dollars. So with that being said, we have $1,720 US profit, okay, and that was in, how many days did that take? That was in 3 days, all right? You know what, let's just call it, that was in 3 trades, right? So from the moment we sold to when we actually got out, let's just call it a week, all right? So in 7 days, all right, because we had the weekend. So with that being said, let me ask you this. How many of you would be pretty excited and we would be pretty happy if you were able to get to a point, all right, where you can generate this type of income in a week? Now, what I want to go ahead and explain to all of you is this, all right? If we generated this type of income just on this very, very simple strategy, how many of you can only imagine what would you be able to accomplish if you were trading multiple currency pairs? So let me just ask you real quick. If you were trading, these other 5 pairs, how many of you believe that you could start, achieving a lot of the successes that you wanted to achieve, right? And so I want you to also understand that yeah, I love what Jim says. I love it here. Okay, Jim, thank you, my friend. Jim says you showed 3 nice wins, but the long-term ratio is the only thing that counts. And you know what? You're right. And what I will tell you is that what I'm going to actually be showing you next is an actual example of long-term ratios, if you will, based on this strategy. Because I will tell you, anything that we teach here at MTI, we definitely make sure that we're actually utilizing the strategy and we take a look at the longevity of it. Does that make sense? So let me ask you all this question. How many of you believe utilizing this strategy, okay, you'd be able to really position yourself to where you can start building up your accounts, start trading at a higher account size, right? Or how many of you believe that you're going to really be able to start accomplishing a lot of the things that maybe you want to accomplish? And so, yeah, absolutely. I see what a lot of you are saying there, And so with that being said, here's what I want to go ahead. And Alan's asking, what's my favorite pair? I love the pound New Zealand, by the way. That's why I actually showed it. And so how many of you, a lot of you are asking questions like, man, how do I get my hands on this, et cetera. Type in the word move on. Okay, no problem, Shirley. Thank you. You're welcome. Type in the word move on if you get it, you understand it, and you want me to show you, all right, how you can actually follow some live professional analysts, all right, and what we're going to be doing for you as what I mentioned earlier, okay? But, all right, all of you are saying move on, got it, move on. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead. I want to go ahead and move on here because that's what the majority of you are saying. And so the first thing I want you to understand is this. First thing I want you to do, type in a yes if you found this easy to follow. And if you saw that this was pretty easy to obey, all right, easy to execute. Now, imagine having an income of just $3,000 to $5,000 a month, especially just to start with. All right, so look, here are the stats from a day similar to this, where we generated 964 pips and took our profits just 11 days later, all right? Now, see, when we actually host these sessions, we look to generate income. Make sense? And on this particular day, we made $9,861 US in just 11 days. Now, how would you guys like to trade live with two professional Forex traders, all right, and the one who developed this actual strategy? All right, and I can literally get you in to try it today for just 27 US for the month, all right, of literally having for trading sessions with Joshua Martinez. And you're also going to not only just be able to join him, but you're also going to be able to trade and actually join one of our other professional analysts. His name is Christopher Pulver. Now, there's a total of 4 actual live sessions. Now, real quick, I already gave you a background on Joshua Martinez, but the second person I want to introduce you to right here is Christopher Pulver, all right? Now, Christopher Pulver, he is one of MTI's lead analysts. He's a direct supervisor over world-famous Analyst on Demand. He's a private money manager. He's made thousands of Forex investments. He's an international speaker, full-time trader, and bottom line, he knows how to get results. All right, so like I promised each and every one of you, all right, I want to go ahead and help everyone in this webinar today by doing something for you that we normally don't do. And normally you would be paying $297 US a month for this membership program, okay? However, if you take action right now, it will give you the ability to get in, all right, for what I mentioned earlier, $7 for your first 30 days of membership. And remember, this is for our new customer introductory offer. If you're wondering what all do we get with the actual with this membership, I'm going to get into a lot of you. How much does it cost? How do I get my hands on it? So I want to go ahead and just fill you in really quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and all right? However, for those of you that take action right now, you will get this for $27 per month for your first 30 days of membership, and it is $297 thereafter. However, today you're going to be saving 50%, all right, off your monthly membership every month thereafter. It's only going to $47 every month thereafter. For those of you that are wondering, all right, how do I go ahead and take advantage of this? How many of you see the link up on the screen, all right? So what I'm going to do right now is this. I'm going to go ahead and chat this act. And what I'd love you to do, can you please be so kind, just click the link, make sure it works, but I want to make sure that you have no issues opening it up, all right? And just type in the word good or got it. Once you get the link, I want to make sure the link went through, and once you think, you should see a page, all right? You should see a page, and I'm going to pull it up right now. You're just like, all right, when you get there, you're going to basically get a recap, all right, of a lot of the things that you're going to get with it, a lot of credit tab on top. Awesome. So that's it, folks. It's just $27 US in comparison to, what you're going to be receiving, folks. Right? So I also want to let you know that there's a 30-day money-back satisfaction guarantee. For whatever reason you're unsatisfied after experiencing the live market, all right, the Forex mentorship and the empowerment program, then contact us to give you your money back. A full refund, folks, no questions asked. Questions asked, 100%. We'll give you a refund within your first 30 days. All right, and 26. Those of you, for those of you that are actually making the decision right now, I have Steven. Steven actually sent. Steven just typed in, just signed up. Those of you that are signing up right now or already signed up, can you just go ahead and type in the word "me" if you're signing up for right now? Sign up within those few minutes, just so I can go ahead and call you out and I kind of recognize you real quick. Steven, my friend, Steven's taking advantage right now. Thank you. Mercifully, 100%. You certainly can, all right? Chris, thank you, Chris. Chris taking advantage of it. Demetris, awesome. Sani, awesome. I'm very, very proud of y'all, okay? Now, with that, let me get the details behind what you're going to be receiving with this. So we discussed you're going to get 4 live online per month, all right, with 2 MTI analysts. Now, in these bi-monthly live market sessions, you directly from the 2 live analysts that I just told you about, all right, Joshua and Chris. You're going to basically understand how making costly mistakes. You're going to learn how past history repeats future profit potential. You're going to accelerate your trading account. And look, one thing I want to tell you right now, by the way, I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, besides the fact that you get to actually pick their brain in a live Q&A session, those of you that are saying, man, I don't know about 3 a.m., right? Well, look, Chris is actually going to teach you a completely different strategy. And I'm telling you right now, it's just as easy as the strategy that right? Saying, man, this is crazy. This is such an easy strategy, you know, and I'm sure y'all are understand it. But I'll tell you right now is this. All right, for those of you that join these sessions, you see how both strategies can literally revolutionize your trading careers. Now, you are going to receive market preview each week, so you are going to gain exclusive access to the market analysis that Joshua Martinez does weekly and possible citizens looking to take advantage of when the trading opportunities do present themselves. As also an email reminder each week containing the Forex market preview video where Josh will be sharing the currency for that particular week. All right? Yes, that's funny. Christopher says for $20, yes, for $27. Now, you're also going to receive recorded replays plus ongoing access to Martinez. So each of these sessions will be recorded, so even if you can't attend, we'll be able to acknowledge the information and the strategies that Josh does discuss, all right, as well as they are going to be literally, the recorded replays do become available within 24 to 48 hours after the session ends. Live market webinars and preview videos, not only will Josh show you how winning trading, you know, how to manage trading techniques, but he's also going to go ahead and highlight common mistakes that a lot of people are definitely want to be avoiding, all right? Now, you're also going to receive 4 special bonuses just today. Check this out. Bonus number 1, all right, is a 30-day free, 30-day free Institute's VIP Analyst on Demand service. All right, and I'll tell you right now, this little advisory ability to chat live with our dedicated team of analysts on past, present, and potential future market activity first per day. You know, when the market's open, they're available. Now, the second bonus we're going to get into currency trading, 4 Forex lessons by Market Traders Institute. All right, and I will tell you right now that you're learning specific information regarding what the Forex is, equity management, trading Japanese signals, potential support and resistance in your favor. And folks, I'll tell you right now that this alone, you know, just between these 2 things alone. Now, let's talk about the third and the fourth. All right, is actually going to be a profit plan consultation call. So basically, you know, this is you see the profit plan that helped, you know, Joshua Martinez turn an initial deposit investment of $500 into $39,000 US profit. All right, and then finally is the fourth. This is the final bonus, the special ebook that really helped Josh, myself, become successful, and that is the Key Trading ebook by Jared Martinez. All right. Now, all of these bonuses, I will tell you, I'll just verbally say it. All right, they all total out to being actually over $6,000 of value. But again, because we want you to get a feel and get an understanding of what this is, it's just $27 US, 30-day money back guarantee, folks. And once again, here's the link. All right. So at this time, I am going to provide the inbox, and a lot of you actually typed in earlier, good to go. When I asked you guys to go, if you're actually taking advantage of this, just to get an idea so I can also call you out. So Murray says, I am in. Awesome. Great to know. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Paul says, good to go. And, yeah, if you're taking advantage of this right now, just type in the word me. Actually taking advantage of this. And at this time, what I want to do is I want to actually call out a lot of those individuals taking advantage. And once again, at this time, let me go ahead and do that. Thank you, Audrey. I do see that you're good to go. So Audrey is in. Awesome. Amy says me. Sherry says, and says me. Blair says me. Awesome to know. Thank you for sharing that. And Ryan says me. Ryan, thank you for that, buddy. I see what you wrote earlier. Awesome. Thank you for that note. Abram says me. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. Thank you, Abram. Thank you, Tarsha. I see that. Fareed says me as well. And folks, I'm very, very proud of each and every one of you that our decision, all right, to move forward, take advantage of this, folks. I'm telling you, this strategy offering now, all right, with this, I'm telling you right now, it's priceless, and you will find the value within the first 30 days. But look, if for whatever reason it's not for you, hey, no problem. Now, let me show you real quick. You know, performance does matter. So check this out. Based on what I just showed you, take a look at May. 2014, 155 pips. That's 1,550 US dollars. Take a look at June. June 14, 392 pips, or 3,920 US dollars. July 14, 354 pips, or 3,540 US dollars. August 2014, minus 18 pips, a loss of $180. September, a loss of 70 pips or a loss of 700 US dollars. October, up 210 pips or 2,100 US dollars. November, minus 150 pips, so a loss of $1,500. And December, just last month, 105 pips or 1,050 US dollars. So folks, in 8 months, we were able to capture 978 pips in just 8 months. That's 9,780 US dollars. Now let me ask you this. Type in a Y for yes if you believe that $27 is a good investment, all right, for what you see on the screen. Do you consider this a good return on investment? Just type in a Y for yes if you believe that that is considered a good return. All right. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Charlie and Andy. And thank you for that. Thank you, Christy and Byron and Twanda. Awesome. So with that being said, folks, that's what I want you to understand, that these are the past results. Now, check this out. I want you to hear real quick, take a look at a few investors who actually started trading the Forex market with MTI's guidance. This is Thomas S. He's a pastor from Ontario, Canada. He says, I made $4,500 in my first week. Anthony S., he's a student, full-time student from Trinidad and Tobago. He says, I would say about a month after I started to see a return on my investment. An average month of trading, I'm making 3,000 plus pips. You're very welcome, Ellen. Take a look here. Peter Cook says, I did Josh's pound Australian, and it took me to the limit, just as Josh said. I did not move my stop or fiddle with the plan. I just bought, set my stop and limit, and left it alone as the analysis was spot on, and it was good for 80 pips. Take a look here. Is FX Caddy. He says, I've struggled for several months. My rep got me focused, and I've made 575 pips in 2 weeks. Folks, how many of you would like to have that level of success? And once again, for $27, if you're able to just join the live webinars, folks, we're going to give you 4 for your first month. Your first 30 days, you're going to be able to join 4 live sessions. All right, with the individuals that I was just telling you about, you have to ask yourself, what is that worth? Right? I know people spend $27 on a meal sometimes, right? Now, let's take a look at FX MPX. I'm about wrapping up. He says 144 pips in the last 24 hours, 96 pips this morning alone. Can't say anything but thank you, thank you, thank you. So, folks, once again, when he says 144 pips in the last 24 hours, 96 pips this morning alone, once again, London breakout. So with that being said, how many of you believe that you could be our next success story? And so I'm going to leave you with this. I'm done, okay? But I want you to imagine. Folks, if you literally were able to just invest $27, have 30 days to go through the education, follow some professional analysts, follow their guidance and wisdom, all right, get started down the right track, and imagine what would that do for your career and what would that do for your future? And would it allow you to really start dictating your life on your terms? And folks, I want to go ahead and thank you all for your time. I had a blast sharing and speaking with each and every one of you today. I definitely value your time. I hope you learned something out of today's web presentation. And once again, what I'm going to do, you do see the link up on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and resend it out to everybody in the chat box right now. So go ahead, feel free to click the link. Check it out, folks. And once again, for those of you, okay, awesome. I see a lot of you are actually, all right, cool, yeah. Karen says just jumped on board. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for letting me know. Thank you, Val. Val, you're very, very welcome. Ellen, same thing. Holly, thank you, Holly. I see that. And real quick, thank you, Tanya. Tanya says, I'm in. Thank you, Tanya. Is there anybody else that's taking advantage of this real quick that I could just kind of call out before I go ahead and end this presentation? Awesome. Thank you, Christopher. Christopher says, I'm in. Thank you, Nikki. Nikki says, me. Thank you, Cameron. Cameron, I see that. Thank you, Steve. Steve, same thing. And folks, with that, I'm wrapped up. I'm done. And I can't wait to meet a lot of you potentially here in the near future. Thank you, and speak to you really soon.